We're live with Skywalker Boxing Media, Team Mo Boxing, no problem. We got a special guest in the house today. We got Michael Zerafa ahead of his March 12th bout in Sydney, Australia. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good, brother. Good. How are you?
Doing good, brother. Thank you for coming on. Let me introduce everybody to you. We got Papi Chun Yayo.
It's Papi Chun Yayo. Heavy on the Papi, light on the Yayo.
We got my brother 86 Boxing, historian and boxing referee.
Cheers. Oh, I'm flattered. You said historian there. I'm flattered, but no, I'm happy to be here. 86 Boxing representing.
Nice. And we got special guest, Tata Jerry. That's Team Donaire in the house. How you doing?
There you go. There you go. And we're bringing you from Melbourne, Australia, Michael Pretty Boy Zerafa.
I'm not that pretty anymore. I'm getting old. I'm not as pretty as I used to be.
Hey, Mike, you got a big fight coming up March 12th, man. It's going down in Sydney, Australia. I've heard that they're trying to elevate you to the main event. Can you tell us a little bit about your upcoming bout?
Yes, I'm fighting a tough guy from Germany, Besir Ay, his name is, and he's only had one defeat early in his career, so he's got a lot of confidence. You know, he hasn't lost in, I think, 18 fights. So I'm expecting a hard fight. I mean, I'm going in as favourite, but I take everyone like I'm fighting for a world title. You know, I'm not taking him lightly. I know he's going to come and bring it. And we've got, like I said, we've got Nonito and Jerry down from Vegas in Melbourne training me. And we're pushing. We're working every day, man, 2-3 times a day. We're working. I'm looking forward to it. March 12th, like I said, I'm going out there to make a statement. But there's talks that, you know, the main event in Brock Jarvis and Keith Thurman has a few hiccups. But, you know, look, that's none of my business. I mean, you know, like the promoters have contacted me and said, you know, we want you to be on standby for that fight. I'm not really interested, to be quite honest. Like I said, I've got my own fight to worry about. If it's different if I wasn't on the card and, you know, they rang me 4 weeks out and said, you know, stay ready because you might be in. But I'm on the card. I've got my own problems to worry about. You know, I've got my own fight. I've got the WBO Intercontinental on the line too. And, you know, for me, like I said, I'm not even focused on that. If there's something meaningful, you know, that they're going to elevate, you know, maybe an interim or something like that, or an eliminator or some form of a fight, I'm sure, yeah, no, I'll chase the big fights, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, for me, I'm focusing on my guy.
Okay, yeah, man. I don't know. I was looking online and I seen him see the Jarvis dude look like he was in some sort of storage locker or something. He had something to say about you.
Yeah, he always does.
See that?
They've always got something to say. I'm standing in front of them, you know. Then they've got nothing. They hide. You know, when I'm in front of them, they got nothing to say. But behind the keyboard and behind the camera, they've got a lot to say.
Hey Jarvis, we don't got beef with you, man, but you got to come up out the storage locker when you having a conversation about people, man. Because
tell him to clean his garage. Tell him to clean his garage.
So, you know, it's an honor to be able to speak to you. What we like to do over here on our channel is introduce, you know, boxers to our audience. You know, you're actually a veteran in the game, and you know, 160 is wide open, man. There's no power name that's up there kind of dominating. So, my question to you is, you know, how do you see yourself within the next 2 years as far as championship level and belts go?
I truly believe I can mix it with the best, and I've done that and fell short. You know, but I was a kid then. You know, I was only 22, my first world title fight, and then 25 with Cal Brook, and sadly last year with Lara, you know, just mentally I wasn't there. You know, and that's a sad thing because I worked my whole life to get to that opportunity, and then I fell short. But you know, full credit to Lara. He was just a better man on the night. You know, I don't believe he's the better fighter, just a better man on the night. And you know, working with Nonito and Jerry and having such a strong team now in these boys, I'm backing myself a lot more, and mentally, physically, emotionally, I feel like I'm on another level, you know, and I just take it day by day. I'm not trying to think above anybody that I'm not matched up against yet, but my dream is to be a world champion, and that's truly what I want to do, and I believe I can do that.
Hey, so Michael, yeah, great chatting with you again. Josh here, 86 Boxing. I was actually going to touch on that question in terms of the status or kind of what the goal was here moving forward. And you mentioned it, world title, and you've had a couple of opportunities where you're right there, right on the cusp. And I actually thought you would beat Laura coming to that contest. And I know you mentioned that, certain things, the right mindset. So explain to the audience, I guess you could say, what that's like in terms of that mental aspect of heading into a fight, especially one of that magnitude.
It was huge. Like I said, I was so, and I believe I beat Lara 10 times out of 10 fights. I just, my sister, sadly was sick. She was battling cancer. Had a lot of problems outside of the ring, which played into the fight. And I kick myself every day because, if I just switched on for that 36 minutes, I would have been a world champion. But, I just let the outside world beat me on the night, and I switched off, and I replay that fight every day in my head, and I watch back on it and I think, Jesus Christ, I could have easily won that fight. But, credit to Lara, he's a great champion. I don't diss anybody. He's a phenomenal champion, and I believe he still beats some of those top guys. But I believe I would have beaten him on the night if the right Michael Zerafa rocked up. And sadly, I just wasn't on.
Now, kind of staying in that particular area. So, you mentioned you had a lot of things going on. And I know that's a situation that comes up with a number of different individuals. Now, given kind of the nature and structure of boxing, do you feel there's like added pressure to kind of keep the show going because of the fact that, hey, if you don't take this opportunity, even if you're dealing with something, whether that's a physical issue, mental issue, or whatever it may be, do you feel that pressure is there? Because I know there are a number of stories where individuals, they go into this contest and they're not in the right mindset or they're not right physically, but we know that sometimes a fighter will move on, or when there's a tough challenge and they get it out, then, hey, they may just take a different route if something like that happens with the postponement.
Look, I've just learned, I work closely with a sports psych and, all these guys and my team as well. So, as I've gotten older now, I've learned how to kind of keep the problems on the outside of the ring. And when it's time to go, it's time to go. It was just sadly, on that night, I had a lot of things going on, and it just got to me. And then, obviously walking out to the stadium with such of a magnitude of a fight, just the pressure just beat me. I beat myself. Lara didn't really beat me. I beat myself. I almost like I didn't want to be there. I was just mentally just switched off, and physically there was nothing wrong with me. We trained so hard for that fight. I was in great shape. We made weight easy. Just emotionally, I was even good. Like, I had no hiccups there. It was just mentally, man. I had a lot of things going on the outside of the ring that I sadly brought into the back of the change room, which then led into the fight. And now, obviously, working with the guys closer in my team, I know how to basically separate that now. And if something's, because not everything's going to go right, that's life, sadly. But I know now when it's time to go, we switch on and it's rock and roll.
Good to go.
I got more of a statement than a question, Michael, man. I just want to give you your respect. A loss doesn't define you. I know you've had wars, but man, the reason I give you mad respect is because you fought everybody, bro. Your resume, you got everybody in it, man. So mad respect to you, man. And my uncle, he was a Hall of Famer. He was a 2-division world champion. His name was Bobby Chacon, and he had 7 losses in his record. A lot of his losses he avenged, but it's all about who you fight, man. You don't duck no smoke, so you deserve all the flowers, bro. I appreciate you coming on the show today, man. And March 12th, man, I think it's going to be a big step up in your career. You know what I mean? It's like it's probably your biggest fight in your career. I think it's bigger than the Lara fight. You know what I mean? Because you're coming off a win. You're still in it. You're Australia's top middleweight. You know what I mean? They always talk about you and Tim Tszyu, and I think right now, man, this is your shot, man. Right now, Tim Tszyu is kind of, he's, kind of hit a standstill with his career, man. And this is your shot to shine for Australia, man, with this fight on March the 12th.
I appreciate it, brother. That means a lot, man. That's kind words. And, like I said, I haven't ducked anybody. And, that's something I wanted to be known for too, like someone that, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And for me, I cleaned up my backyard and I stepped up numerous times on the world level. And like I said, went the distance with Cal Brook and fought the best guys. And I want to continue doing that. I feel like that's boxing. Win, lose or draw, you fight the best. And I want to continue doing that. And Tim Tszyu, that's the biggest fight down here in Australia. And I'm the bad guy and whatnot. But I think he's running away from me, man. I think they don't want to. Stylistically, they've said off camera, that they are trying to avoid me. But for me, it's like chasing a dead horse. Like it's every time I go out there and say something, it just gets thrown back into my face. So for me, the only way I make noise or make statements is just keep winning. So March 12, I'm going out there and I want to make a huge statement. I want to get that belt and keep climbing the ranks. I'm still top 15 in the world, and I think I'm sitting at number 8 in the WBA and across the 4 sanctioning bodies and whatnot. So I want to get back in there and again fight the guys in front of me. And I'm sitting, I think, at 15 or 14. And if I have to fight number 12, give me number 12. If I have to fight number 5, give me number 5. I don't care who I fight. For me at the end of the day, because in my mindset is in 10 years from now, there's going to be a new Michael Zerafa. They're not even going to remember the Michael Zerafa now. So I want to go out there and make as much noise as I can and get as much accomplishments as I can, because that's the sport, win, lose or draw.
Yeah.
Hey, look, on our channel, man, we keep up with all the international fighters. We just love the sport in its totality and want to make sure that it's preserved for the next generation and things like that. So let me ask you a question, because me personally, I've seen some extraordinary talent come fight that's out of Australia. You guys got some guys that have some potentially superstar status over there. Is there let's call it boxing nepotism, right? Is there a boxing nepotism that exists in Australia, whereas an individual of your caliber is not getting the attention you need because it's being overshadowed?
100%. That's what I daily. In Australia, it's the zoo show here. No matter what other fighters do, like we had Leon Paro, a perfect example. Even Joel Patea before he went over with Riyadh and all that.
Oh, boy.
They weren't getting any media, and they were legitimate world champions. Cambosis, another one. Myself, another one. It was all about Tim Tszyu. It was just it was the zoo show. So and obviously I got a lot of media too because of the rivalry between me and Tim. So I did get a little bit more media than some of the other guys, but it's a shame to see guys like Leon Paro and the world champions that we had, not get anything. They weren't even getting a write-up in the local paper. It was, it's terrible. But now that they've, had losses, he's had the 2 losses now. I think people are starting to realize that, he isn't Costa, and that he is beatable, and he's not at that world-class level. I think there was guys like Eddie Hearn and stuff like that said the same thing, and they backed me to win. So for me, like I said, I just in the gym, keep quiet, and just grind away, bro. Just grind away.
Yeah. And kind of alluding to that. So, I was thinking about that. Certainly looking at your resume, you have a tougher resume, a deeper resume than Tim Tszyu. Do you feel like they'll actually take that fight now, considering he's hit this rough patch? Because you would be a major problem for him from an experience standpoint.
100%, and that's what the world's saying now. They're saying like Zerafa. Prior to his losses, they're like Zerafa doesn't even last a round. But now there's people that actually know boxing, not just Tim Tszyu fans, saying that Zerafa's got all the skill in the world to beat him. And that I know off camera, these guys don't want to fight me. They've said it. So for me, we're pushing that fight. Because that's a fight we want. It's a fight that will solve and settle a lot of problems that we've had in the past, because there was a lot of the fight didn't happen initially and they thought that I pulled out of the fight, and that was obviously not the case. There was a lot of things going on behind the scenes that were stopping the fight from happening. So it will definitely solve a lot of problems, and I truly believe I beat him. I definitely do.
No doubt about it. And so 160, you mentioned you're having a good camp. How do you feel at 160? Do you feel like that's your home right here, right now for the foreseeable future?
100%. You know, obviously with Nonito and Jerry and Rachel as well, because I used to walk around too light. I mean, I don't know what it is in pounds because we're kilos here, but I used to walk around, you know, too light. You know, 72 kilos is 160. I used to walk around at 75 kilos, so I was maybe 1.5 pounds over, you know, and I was too light. So now working with the right people, dietitians and whatnot, I'm walking around strong, you know, and feeling real comfortable as a middleweight. So I'm campaigning here. I'm comfortable here. I can easily make 154 as well. So for me, I like 160, but if there's a big opportunity that comes up at 154, I'm more than happy to take that as well.
All right. Hey, right mindset right there, because between 154 and 160, a lot of talent for sure. You know, an
100%.
opportunity is out there, definitely.
I'd love to be in the mix with it, you know, and I had Eddie Hearn contact me recently. They wanted me to fight Liam Smith and Amo Williams, and there was a few others. And I said, yeah, like I said, I'm keen, you know. I said, let's make it happen. I said, you know, if the right money's there, let's make it happen. And then obviously Liam Smith couldn't make weight, and they wanted me to at a catch weight at like 168 or something. So I was already small as it is. So that's the reason why that fight didn't happen. I was meant to be fighting him now. I think he's fighting Aaron McKinnon or something.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that should have been Michael Zerafa.
Got it. Wow. Yeah, that would have been a nice one right there as well.
But I like Liam Smith. You know, we talk on social media, and we've had a lot of back and forth and whatnot. But you know, he's a great family man. He's a gentleman. Obviously, when it's go time and it's a boxing fight, you know, he's a loudmouth like myself. But take nothing away. He's a legend in the sport, and he's great for boxing. And it would have been an honor to fight someone like Liam Smith. But unfortunately, the fight just didn't happen.
Good to go.
There's a great middleweight bout coming up this coming Saturday, man, with Adames and Shiraz. And who do you think is going to win that bout, Mike?
I like Shiraz. You know, I like the way he's patient. You know, I like the way he uses his reach. He's a dangerous dude. But then you've also got Adames, who, man, he's scary. You know, he's a big dude, and he can punch, and you know, he stands. I've seen him sparring, and he's a bad dude. You know, so it's yeah. You know, I can't pick a winner. You know, if I had to pick a winner, I'd probably say on boxing ability, maybe Shiraz. But it's one of those fights from first to 12th round. It could just go either way, you know, because you got a puncher versus the smart. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that fight. It's going to be a great one.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like I've already said that I'm not picking against Hamza until he lose. But, you know, man, Adames, man, y'all do realize that he trained with Bud Crawford, you know, they got in some good work. That's gonna be a hell of a match.
He's just a big dude. He's just a big dude, man.
Yeah, he's
for one middle. He's the
highly
size
skilled.
Like he's like a light heavyweight. He's huge.
Yeah, I don't. How does he do it, bro? When he's in the ring, it looks like he's about 190 pounds.
Yeah, he's a monster. He's a monster.
So let me ask you this, because you know, obviously, you know, there's a life that happens after boxing. Have you prepared yourself for the aftermath of boxing? Like, are you in the property investments? Are you in the building gyms for the kids around? Like, what is it that you're doing for your community?
Yeah, so I've just recently opened up a boxing gym down in my area. And we got one or two more getting opened up by the end of this year. So the idea is to franchise. It's called 13 Rounds. So I'm trying to franchise my gym, and but not only boxing. You know, I want recovery centers in there, and even like Pilates classes for the females, and you know, recovery centers, strength and conditioning. You know, I want to branch out. You know, my whole life I've been in the boxing world and been in the gym since I was 7 years old. So it'll be good to kind of see what else is out there, you know, outside of the boxing world. But my first one, obviously, the love of the sport is a boxing gym, and I'm sitting in it as we speak and getting ready to put in another session with the boys. But yeah, look, for me, I'm not a fancy guy. I don't really care about that high life. If I can retire and be comfortable, I'll be happy.
Awesome. Hey, you know, and Australia has a deep storied history in boxing. I won't dive into all of that, but it does have one of the most storied histories just across the board. Now, thinking about it from the perspective of kind of where you are now, so it never left it's had some moments where you had a lot of individuals that were on top who were elite in the sport who were coming from down under. Then you see some ebbs and flows, things of that nature. I feel like it's sort of a renaissance now. You have a lot of talent coming out of Australia at that world stage. Now, you spoke of opening a gym. Do you see sort of more interest from a youth perspective as far as your time having opened this gym?
100%. As soon as I opened the gym, because ideally I didn't want to open it up to the public. I just wanted a gym for myself, and obviously when we fly out, Nonito, Jerry, and the crew and all that, just so we got error. Because I don't really like imposing on other people, and we rock up, and if they've got classes or whatnot, we're kind of crashing, their setup. So I wanted to kind of open up my own gym, and as soon as I found out that Michael Zerafa has opened up a gym locally. I had a huge interest in the youth and the young kids. And there's a lot of talent. I've got a few young kids now. They're only like 14, 15 years old. But, technically they're not obviously there. But just that want, the hunger, and just the all-round toughness. Back in the days, some of the kids, they were too scared. Now they're walking in there. They're like, hey, coach, can we spar today? And, I'm like, yeah, who you want to spar? And then he'll point at his mate, and his mate's 30 kilos heavier than him. They just don't really care. They just want to get in there and work. And it's great to see, because obviously when I was a kid, it was a little bit more structured. And now obviously I'm trying to give back from, all my experience in the sport back to these guys. And it's good to see. And I feel like it's only the beginning, to be honest.
Yeah. So what do you think the biggest change has been sort of in how you go about it, with working with Nonito, Jerry, Rachel, etc.?
The mindset, they push me, man. These guys, even Jerry this morning, he's a man of a few words, and if he doesn't say nothing at the end of a session, I'm absolutely happy, because he picks up on every little thing. But I'm blessed. I'm so grateful to have these guys, because at the start they were my trainers, but now they're like family. Like I can talk to them about anything. We get along, and I literally call Nonito Pops. And Rachel Mum. So, and we got the grandpa up there in the corner.
Yep.
Hey, talk to Jerry, man. What? Hey, listen, I saw Zerafa dislocate a dude's face with a left hook not too long ago. Who taught him that?
Hey, Angelo Leo, bro, is my bro, and he's been learning from Nonito too. And look where he's at now, and that's my bro. I'm out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm out here with where Angelo's from,
Angelo, yeah.
That's
actually
like
a
Tongan left hook.
That left hook, man, is famous. It's got a trademark,
Like what I was going to say with Michael, even the first time that we went here, in Melbourne, to work with him for the Lara fight, I had no question on his skill, his strength, just iffy on the mental aspect of the fight. And it did, materialize during that fight. So, and now it's a different person. The skill and the power is still there, but now he's matured on the way he's gonna show up in Sydney, right? We're gonna bring our pet kangaroo and make sure that he gets his sparring done, But yeah, that's something. But let me ask you a question. Put you in a corner here, Michael. This is the second fight that we pretty much, me and Nonito. I'm just hanging around with Nonito. I'm really not doing anything. But we've been to Melbourne, and I'd say on the upcoming, you're already at the championship level, right? So once you have been tapped to fight for a championship, are you still going to bring Nonito back here in Melbourne, or are you planning on doing a camp in Las Vegas?
Well, wherever you guys are located. If you're down here holidaying, well, then we'll begin the gym training. But if you're in Vegas, I'll definitely come up there. But like I said from the get go, Nonito and yourself are going to be my last stop. So, my career's in you guys, your hands, and I trust in you. And how can you not trust someone that's done it 11 times? You know what I mean? 11-time world champion and a master of the sport, famous for his left hooks. And Yeah, someone who I used to watch before I,
Right.
got the opportunity to be, in the ring side of you guys. So for me, I'm just grateful. Like I said, I'm just taking up every opportunity, soaking up everything, and it's good too because Nonito, he's like a big kid too, So we get along, we laugh, and when it's time to work, we work, and then when it's time to be boys, we be boys. But like this morning's session, I nearly died. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a tough one, man, and there was no love. There was no love in the glove, for that 45 minutes of just straight gangster work. So I'm grateful. Like I said, I'm super humble, and yeah, like you guys will be in my corner for the rest of the time of my career. Yeah.
I was going to tell you, last week we had a prospect. He's 7-0. His name's Charlie Kazi. He's fighting on the undercard. I don't know if you heard of him. He's a lightweight.
Yeah, I've seen him fight. Yeah. I've seen him fight on from Sydney, isn't he?
Yeah. He wants to meet you and Nonito at the fight. So I told him, I'd let you guys know. He was on the show the other day, but he wanted to meet you and Nonito. You know what I mean? So.
Awesome, man. He's a good kid. I've seen him fight, and he's got a good work rate. He boxes nice and tidy and neat, and I think he's going to go far in the sport. If he's guided in the right path, I think he's got a good future, man, because he's a good little fighter.
Yeah, awesome.
So, do you have any? Sorry.
He said where he was at, there was no koalas and kangaroos, right?
Yeah.
Now we saw kangaroos. Jerry got to witness in the flesh some kangaroos, but koalas, I haven't even seen a koala, man. They're usually at the zoo. You got to go to the zoo to see them, but kangaroos are just like you'll be just walking and there'll be one just chilling out on the side of the road there. Yeah.
They seem pretty mean too, to be honest with you.
Bro, they take a dog in the water and choke it out.
They're crazy, man.
Come on in here in this water so I can choke you out real quick.
They're big, man. They look like 6'6" bodybuilders. They're huge.
Crazy.
So, do you have any? Do you have any major sponsors or anything like that you want to shout out? And also, do you have a method for teaching some of the younger guys how to market themselves and to maybe associate them with some of the sponsors so things can be a little easier for them?
I tell people, like even anyone that's tuning in, even the up and comers and stuff, I just tell people to just be themselves. A lot of people go out there and try to, be a Floyd Mayweather or, be a Mike Tyson. And I say, look, it's great, that you are idolizing these guys because they're absolute legends in the sport. I said, but it's been done. It's been seen. Like we've seen the Mike Tyson, we've seen the Floyd Mayweather, we've seen the McGregors, we've seen all these guys. We be yourself. And I always say, like I remember Sugar Ray Leonard interviewed me and he said, Michael, who's your favorite fighter? And everyone prior to me that I answered the question was all saying it was Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. And my answer was Michael Zerafa 5 years from now.
Hey.
Awesome.
And he took his hat off and he put it on my head. He goes, that is the best answer I've ever heard, and it's a moment I'll never forget. I've actually got his hat framed up in me house, and like I just tell all these guys, be yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not. Even when you're boxing, your boxing style is going to be your own. Like there's only going to be one Michael Zerafa, and there's only going to be one, Tim Tszyu, or there's going to be one Leon Paro, or like be your own person. And be unique, and I feel like it's worked. A lot of the guys and kids that train here, like they come in there with a bit of a different attitude. Like they'll try to have an American accent, or they'll try to be like a one of the homeboys, And
I know exactly what you're talking about. The British dudes do. Anthony Joshua and them, when they went to New York, they put do-rags on and went to ride bicycles through the hood. We don't advise that, by the way. That's not. Listen, what you see on TV, it ain't all pizzas and
we
gravy.
have him in here, like we have one kid in here that comes in with a do-rag and he says y'all, and we don't talk like that, like it's good, but like I just tell them to be themselves. But if that's the path they want to go, like I said, they'll learn it on themselves. But that's probably the best advice I always say, keep your circle very small. That's another thing I always say too. The best advice I ever learned was keep your circle small. I remember back when I first started, I had a team of 20, and just people drop off. And I say a boxing career or a career in anything is like a mountain. At the bottom of the mountain, you can hold 10,000 people. But as you're climbing up that mountain, people are falling off, and there's only room for maybe one or two at the top holding on. That's why they call it the top of the mountain. You know what I mean? So I tell everyone that, just to keep the circle very small.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And kind of staying with that. Yeah. How do you maintain that sort of that enthusiasm, that desire, that drive right there, Michael? Because you're someone, you've been in with some of the best in the sport. You've had some highs. You've taken some losses, but you seem, from my perspective, just in talking with you, that the mindset hasn't changed. You're still focused on that ultimate pinnacle. You want to get that world championship status. And how do you explain that, or where does that come from? Because some individuals, they kind of get latched on, like you mentioned to Floyd Mayweather, for instance, like, he hasn't lost or anything of that nature. Or if I lose, it's over for me. But that's not the case. You're right there on the cusp once again. Kind of where does that come from?
It all started from that 7-year-old Michael Zerafa, man. And I always remind myself that I made that promise to that little kid that one day, I will be a world champion, or, I'll reach the absolute pinnacle of the sport until my body can't do it anymore. And people say to me, like you said, how do you stay motivated and how do you keep going? And some days I wake up and I can't, but it needs to be done. It's got to be done. It's my job. I'll wake up and I'm sore as hell, but while I'm complaining, I'm getting ready and I'm driving to the gym. We don't miss days because we're sore, we're tired, or because it's our birthday, or because it's Christmas, or we work. This is our full time. It's a 24/7. It's not a 9 to 5. And I say that all the time. And there's going to be days where you absolutely hate it. And there's been times in the gym where me and Nonito and Jerry, we're punching on because we're yelling at each other, but the work gets done. And when I get in that ring, we walk out with the army, and I tell myself, we've done the work. We've had no shortcuts. Like I'm running in a week. I'm running, or your miles, but I'm running like 60, 70 miles a week.
Wow.
That's just my road work, and we're working, man. Like I said, we're really pushing every day. I'm 33 years old and I still feel 23, and I love it, man. I love the sport. You gotta, like anything, you gotta have that passion, but there's days you gotta just smile and wave and just get the work done, man. Like there's going to be days you wake up and you're just like, fuck, I do not want to be here, but I'm here, and that was a choice, and I'm here now. So let's just suck it up and let's just get to work, man. Like this morning's work was hard. I could not wait for it to be over, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I love this. He had the camera on me in my face. Nonito, he's like, how do you feel? I'm like, I fucking love this shit, man. So, but it's hard, and I tell all these kids, man, it's only going to get harder. But the hardest thing in life is life, man, So if you can get through that, you can get through anything.
That's awesome and great to hear. I love hearing it because, in kind of looking at and studying the history, you have those stories. It may not come at 28, could come at 38, but you gain these experience each time you go out there. And at the end of the day, it's the fight game. So it's a learning process. So I love hearing sort of that mindset from you. And I think it could be an inspiration from some youngsters who are coming up and maybe they run into a roadblock or whatnot, just not giving up there.
I tell everybody, a bad day only lasts 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And you might wake up on a Monday morning, you're like, shit, it's a bad day, man. I'm having a bad day. But you know what? It's a reset button after 24 hours. And you might wake up on the Tuesday like, shit, it's another bad day. But again, it's only another 24 hours. It's a bad day, not a bad life. And, there's so many things, sometimes I tell myself, I can't be bothered. But I actually tell myself that's just selfish because there's so many people in the world that would give absolutely everything to be where I'm at. There's kids with disabilities, or, there's people out there that don't get to do the things that I do, and it's sad and selfish to say that I can't be bothered. So I always remind myself, that there's others out there that would do absolutely anything to be in your position. So I'm just super grateful. I thank God. And I always say the problem, if everyone throws their problems in a pile, I guarantee you'll grab your problem back.
Oh yeah.
Hey man, it's wild over here in America. I know you mentioned disabilities, man. We got people that fight in wheelchairs. We got midget boxing. We got people that are out in the mountains. They call them the hollers, redneck boxing. We got you name it, we got it.
I'd love to see it, man. That's great. You know what? That inspired me. I love seeing that. You know, because I always say just because you got something wrong or, you know, you weren't gifted with something, you know, they throw in the towel down here. And I say, you know what, give it a crack, no matter what it is, man. Like you tried, you know what I mean? You gave your absolute all. And I love seeing that, man. I've actually never seen, you know, you guys with the disability boxing and stuff. And,
bro, hey, listen, man, they pack it out, bro. Talking about 4'6.5", coming in at 75 pounds strong, and got movement like you know what I mean. Hey, I had to throw a joke in there because I usually like to get people laughing because that's what we need in life. But could you please speak to you mentioned sports psychology? That's one of my big things here. I feel like most athletes need sports psychology. Could you tell our audience like what the sports psychology part does for you as far as, you know, your preparation and your state of mind?
100%. I just got back just now, before we jumped on, and I go once, twice a week in the lead up of my 12-week camps. For me, look, growing up, I never believed in them because I always thought, oh man, like I don't have anything wrong with me, and I, you know, like I just thought that was what it was, you know, like you've got to go there and like a shrink. I thought it was, you know, like if I went there, I had issues. But for me, when I went there that one time, it just programs the mind. It just gets you on another level of confidence and backing yourself and. You know, knowing that the hard work's done, and when you do have these self-doubt, it's normal. You know, feeling the nerves, it's normal. You know, and my guy actually works with Rafael Nadal when he's in Australia, so he's a real powerful guy. You know, and he just programs the mind, man. Like I just sit in this chair, and as we're talking, I just leave like I want to spar another 10 rounds. You know, like he just gives you that mental, like, man, we got this. You know, have you done the work? Yes. Have we done this? Yes. Then, you know, there's no point of that self-doubt. And he just takes the bad things away from you. And I recommend it to everybody to go in there. And even for anything, whether if it's not sport, if it's opening up a business and you've got that doubt or whatever it may be, I don't even know. But I highly recommend it for people because it's changed my life. And, you know, actually leading into the Lara fight, I never actually used it, sadly enough. But you know, that was the outcome. And then obviously now, I've been back on it, and my last 2 fights, man, I'm ready to go.
Hey, that is an amazing message. You know, myself, Skywalker, and Josh, we're all military vets. And me personally, you know, we've seen war. You know, we've been in the thick of things. And I always recommend for any of my, you know, my colleagues, my comrades, and just men in general, it's okay to go talk to a counselor. It's okay to seek, you know, counseling to be able to get you in the right space. It shouldn't be looked at as mental health is a very important part of life. So
100%.
Thanks for that message, man. We definitely appreciate you talking to our audience about that.
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you very much. And yeah, like I said, it's okay to not be okay. You know, like you got to speak up a little bit, but and that's what I mean. When I was in there before, I was like, oh, nah. And then when I went there, I was like, you know what? I recommend this to everybody, man. Like it's just another bit of power going into a fight or going into a working environment or going into battle or whatever it may be, you know. So I do highly recommend it to everybody, man.
Nice.
Good to go. Yeah, and speaking of that, kind of how do you wind down? You know, you put in a lot of work. Like you said, boxing is 24/7. Even from a fan's perspective, there's always something going on. But what do you do kind of just to wind down, you know, and ease the mind?
I'm just a homebody, man. I love just switching off, going home, and just chilling out, man. Nothing too fancy. Just watching some Netflix, and
beautiful wife.
Chocolate. Yeah, a beautiful wife. Just at home, and just I'm a big sweet tooth, man. So I love going home and having a bit of chocolate, a bit of sugar, and just unwinding and switching off. Sugar. Okay,
good to go. I'm with you there. Hey, I like to do that. Just kind of chill out at home. That's the best way, you know.
Yeah, man.
Gym the safe way too.
I'm in the gym all day, you know, and then obviously once I finish training and whatnot, I got all the kids that come in and the classes and whatnot. I go home and I just chuck on some cringy TV, some TV series, and just and just watch some girly shows and just chill out, man.
Oh,
I mean, Nonito's in town, man. Nonito likes to go out and sing and do, dance and all.
Karaoke.
I realized that in the first time he came down.
Yeah.
But man, I wish you nothing but luck. March 12th, man. Any message to your fans and followers?
I just appreciate the love and support. Obviously, without that, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. That gives me obviously that drive and the support. It gives me that backing, to push and fight on when I'm those days that I am tired. So, for those that do follow my career and follow me, I appreciate you guys and huge love and respect. And for those that hate on me and don't show me love, I thank you. I thank those guys too, because they're the guys I get up in the morning and want to prove wrong. So I thank them as well. But overall, just everybody, man. And life's as hard as it is already. So we should all stick together and show love to one another and lift each other up, not bring each other down.
That's right.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for sure, Michael. And I don't think I'd heard an interview with you before, but after being here, being able to chat with you, man, I have an appreciation. I definitely want to follow and see you do your thing, certainly. So, wishing you much success, not only just here for this fight coming up, but hitting that world title status for sure. So, you definitely have my backing.
God bless, brother. It means a lot. Thank you so much, bro.
Hey, and don't forget about your colleagues and some of the guys at Boxing Your Gym. We're open to interviewing them if we want to get them on here. If they want to let some American fans be able to learn something about them. We're definitely open. Tell Sweet Pea he still got to check in, because I live in the town where the original Sweet Pea is from, and we need him to check in. You feel me? So we need to holler at him real quick.
Who's the Sweet Pea out there?
Yeah, it's an Australian Sweet Pea. He nice with it.
He's the best. He's the best, man. He's a huge talent. I get along with him and his team very well, man. And he had a good win, a tough fight. But he's a huge talent. I think he's going to be, like another Jaya Patea.
He's a superstar. Trust me.
Superman. He moves. He glides in the ring, man. He's an absolute machine, and I'm grateful to have a good friendship with him. And man, he's a big talent.
Yeah, tell him we still need him to check in, though.
I will. I'll say you boys are happy with him.
All right.
All right, guys. Dr. Jerry, appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for
No problem, bro. Like I said, the reason I brought in Michael over, I asked him if he could grace your show, was that I believe this is the platform right here. What you guys are doing, Bro Skywalker, Joshua, and Poppy. This will bring an exposure, whether to be up and new coming boxer or even the champion caliber boxer, to be able to be interviewed and pretty much open up the conversation with an intelligent way of speaking about it. I would like to bring this type of form over to the Filipino side, but they might have a problem understanding his Australian dialect.
There's nothing wrong with my dialect. What's wrong with you? I talk normal.
Michael,
It's not bad.
Marco.
An Irish person on here is tough, man. I had an Irish guy all the time. I couldn't understand him, man.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't being rude, but I couldn't understand the accent,
Yeah.
Jerry
But I mean,
just doesn't understand me. Jerry doesn't understand.
We have some Filipinos. I've noticed on the like Coach Ricky came up and stuff, and he's pretty agile on his English, so that's not a problem. But to get the everyday run-of-the-mill Filipino in the Philippines, they're gonna have a hard time, or they're gonna get nosebleed from the English that Michael's putting out. But other than that, I appreciate the openness that Michael put out in this interview, because hey, if you actually listen to what he's saying, it's going to open up the way you think, and before, without the what do you call that, this type of platform, there is none. There is nothing that somebody going to tell you about stuff. You don't get one on one. Now this kind of platform, what he just said, just uh, s- went all over the world.
Oh yeah.
International.
Yep.
I can't wait to be back, man. I can't wait to be back on, and I
No,
love you,
no. Hey,
American guys.
hey.
In America,
We're,
huge
we're,
shout out to you
we're
guys.
waiting for you after you beat that guy, that Russian guy,
Yes,
or
sir.
the German guy. We're waiting for you to celebrate your win on this podcast, Skywalker Tim and Tim show.
100%.
Cool.
We'll do it.
Yeah,
There
We'll
you
do it
go.
straight after. We'll do it straight after.
He gonna beat
There you go.
the schnitzel out of him.
100%, man. I can't wait.
Wiener Schnitzels.
No, good stuff. Cool.
Yeah, we'll have it set up better. We had an issue tonight. I had switched software, so this is a normal platform. We'll have it better. We had it all kind of hard to get in, so.
Yeah.
All good,
Yeah.
brother. All
Yep.
good, man. I appreciate it. It's time to train now and smash it out. But I appreciate
Yeah.
you guys. Huge love and respect, not only to you guys but your country. And like I said, I can't wait to be back.
Right on.
Sure, get it in.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
God bless, boys. Stay safe,
Right.
and we'll be in touch.
Have a good one. See you tomorrow.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Yep.